All right, we got a CaveWhere model here. This is Thunderstruck Cave in Vancouver Island, British Columbia. And this is a plan view of the cave. We can turn on some profiles with the plan. These are both projected profiles looking at two different angles. Turning off the plan here. So this is kind of the traditional sketch. This came out of TopoDroid. And another thing I did on this cave trip is we surveyed the cave with LiDAR, and this is during the cave survey. I added probably 10 or 15 more minutes to the cave survey. Probably would have gone a little faster if I handed off the cave. But I want to just demonstrate how I can use CaveWhere to draft the map with the LiDAR. So I exported the LiDAR into Illustrator in a profile, and I can just kind of trace the outside of the LiDAR scan. What's really cool about this is you can kind of choose any orientation that you want because the LiDAR is in 3D and you're not limited to the original profiles that the sketcher drew. And I just ended up not drawing this section, so it's really great that I had the LiDAR scan. So I can do this out of the cave. You know, the whole adage of don't draw things out of the cave. Well, you can do that with LiDAR, which is kind of hilarious. This bottom section here, I'm not quite sure if there's a floor step or what's going on. And I looked at the LiDAR and I guess I determined that it is a floor step. It kind of goes down to like a little drain. There's a bunch of air that blows out of it. So going over to this other side section, we can kind of look at the LiDAR and just see kind of like the little bit more context before I actually go ahead and give it a draw in Inkscape here. There's a little bit of a floor step right there where my mouse is. So we're gonna kind of draw that in. So it's like stupid easy. I think anyone probably could do this, which is great. And my goal is to get this actually in the cave so you can do this work in the cave versus at your desk, because you know, if you're in the cave and you think that there's something screwed up with the LiDAR or with the data, you can just rescan it again or resketch it again. It's just you have a little bit better context when you're in cave. But it's really cool that I can kind of choose a just any particular projection and draw it. There's actually a little waterfall that comes out of the wall here. That's what I'm drawing in right now. And there's kind of a disjoint between the front and the back. That's really obvious in the LiDAR scan, but that's something that would be hard to tease out if you're just looking at 2D scans. Of course, there's a bit of the cave that I don't have sketched. I don't have LiDAR for, and I sketched in. So I'm going to actually use part of that to do this sketch and link it all together. So I'm kind of, it's a hybrid approach between LiDAR and the regular traditional sketch. You know, that there's a little bit of, you know, leeway between what the digital survey shows and the LiDAR. I think the LiDAR is probably a little bit more accurate. There's just way more data in it. If you can think about it, you know, in a digital survey, you have maybe 10 or 15 splays that come off of a station at most. With LiDAR, it's hundreds of splay shots that you're sketching off of. So even though they may be not like super accurate, they'd probably be within 10 centimeters, good enough for cave survey. You're just gonna have so many more of them, and you get a lot more context out of the LiDAR with that kind of meshing. And just to put it all together, here's the final product between the LiDAR and what I drew in Illustrator. And you can kind of get like a really nice projected profile from any angle. So pretty cool.